Good morning. I'm Nirmala, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Applications, Arignar College, Arts and Science, Krishnagiri. Today I'm going to handle object-oriented analysis and design. Let I introduce what is an object-oriented analysis and design. It means OIAD is based on the concept of object-oriented programming (OOP) and is an organized and systematic approach to design and developing software system. It is a software engineering paradigm that integrates two distinct but closely related processes: object-oriented analysis and object-oriented design. Bridge the gap between system requirement and system implementation. Let me discuss the important aspects of OOAD. Here I have mentioned some important aspects. Among one, object-oriented programming. In this, the real-world items are represented, mapped as software objects with attributes and methods that related to their actions. Next, design patterns are used by OOAD to help developers in building software systems that are more efficient and maintainable. UL diagram are used in OOAD to represent the different components and interactions of a software system. If we take use cases which helps to developer to understand the requirements of system and to design software system that met those requirements. Let me discuss what is an object-oriented analysis. That means it's a process of understanding and analyzing the system requirements by looking at the problem scenario in terms of objects. That means object-oriented is a process of examining a problem domain to identify the objects that exist in that domain and model, then using object-oriented techniques. What is the purpose? To understand and model user requirement, what kind of activity we can take, it identify actors and use cases, build a use case diagram, it create a domain model with conceptual classes and relationship. What kind of outcome we can see? Functional model of system from the user perspective. And let me discuss object-oriented design. What is an object-oriented design? In object-oriented design, your software development process, the analysis model, which is initially formed through object-oriented analysis, it undergoes a transformation during object-oriented design, that is implementation of conceptual model developed in OOA. This evaluation is crucial because it shapes the analysis model into a detailed design model. Furthermore, as part of the object-oriented design process, it is essential to define specific aspects and further a part of object-oriented design process. It is essential to specify aspects, and if we discuss data organization of attributes, it OOAD involves specifies how data attributes are organized within the objects. This includes determining the types of data each object will hold and how they related to one another. And let me discuss the topic on procedural description of operations. What it trying to tell means OOAD requires a procedural description for each operations that an object can perform. This involves detailing the steps or process involved in carrying out specific tasks. Let me see the pyramid of object-oriented design. In that responsibility design, it describes the responsibility and behavior assigned to each classes or object within the system. If we take message design, it specifies how objects communicate by exchanging messages to achieve collaboration and interaction. If we take a class on object design, it defines the structure and behavior of individual classes on objects in the system. And next, if we discuss subsystem designs, it organizes classes into large integrated unit representing subsystems within a software design. Let me discuss each layer separately in the pyramid. If we take the subsystem layer, what it represents? It represents the subsystem that enable software to achieve user requirements and implement technical framework that meet user needs. Okay. And next, the class on object layer, what it discuss? It represents the class hierarchies that enable the system to develop using generalization and specialization. This layer also represents each object. If we move to the message layer, this layer deal with how objects interact with each other. It includes messages sent between objects, method calls, and follow-up control within the system. If we move to responsibility layer, it focuses on the responsibility of individual objects. This includes defining the behavior of each class, specifies what each object is responsible for and how it responds to messages. Next, let me discuss the benefits of object-oriented analysis and design. What kind of benefit we can see? Means it increases the modularity and maintainability of software by encouraging the creation of tiny reusable parts that can be combined to create more complex systems. Next, it provides high level abstract representation of software system, making understanding and maintenance easier. It promotes object-oriented design principles and reuse of objects, which lower the amount of code that must be produced and raises the quality of the problem. Next, software engineer can use the same language and method that OOAD provides to communicate and work together more successful in groups. Next, let me discuss the challenges of object-oriented analysis and design. What kind of challenges we may face? Because objects and other interactions need to be carefully explained and handled. It might complicate your software system. This may become challenge in future. So that because objects must be instantiated, managed, interacted with, this may result in addition, overhead and reduce the software speed. And next, what kind of challenge we may face for beginner software engineer? OOAD might have a challenging learning curve since it requires a solid grasp of OOP principles and methods. And OOAD can be more expansive than other software engineering methodologies due to the upfront planning and documentation required. Let me move to real-world applications of object-oriented analysis and design concept. What kind of real-world application we can see? For example, banking software. In banking system, OOAD is frequently used to stimulate complex financial transactions structures, and customer interactions. Designing adaptable and reliable financial apps is made easier by OOAD, modular and scalable architecture. And if we take a flight control system, OOAD is crucial in designing flight control system for aircraft. It helps model the interactions between different components such as navigation system, sensor, and control surface, ensuring safety and reliability. If we take online shopping platforms, e-commerce systems develop frequently make use of OOAD. That means product catalogs, user profiles, shopping carts, and payment procedures are more modeled, which facilitates platform maintenance and functionality expansions. Thank you.